He's got the biggest mic. Yeah, bigger than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the biggest mic. How come you guys don't have the budget for the bigger mics?
What do you see from London tonight? Can they lose the second game in a row?
I'm more about my team, not London.
Well,
yeah, but if you're predicting, I hope you're right.
Okay. What about them? You played them once, you lose in overtime, so is there any big changes you have to do tonight for having the success?
Get one goal better.
How come?
Well, it's simple. Simple. Remember, what's the quote?
Yeah.
Simplicity is what?
Mother of.
No, the ultimate form of sophistication.
Okay. Thanks.
And it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Get one goal better. We're all happy.
Yeah. Well, we all know that.
But they obviously, yeah. There's different ways. The process.
Yeah.
It's not the outcome. It's a process. So we have to be ready. You know, I don't know. I'm not into the analytics, but lots of people are. But the analytics, they're probably the best team in the first 10 minutes for shots on goal.
Yeah.
And we're probably the best team for giving the most shots on goal. Yeah. So that's a big battle right off the bat. We got to be better right off the 10 minutes, and then if we have a good 10 minutes, and get better from that.
Is this the kind of tournament where you want to see your team improve from game to game, and have you seen anything like that so far?
Well, we lost the first game, we won our last game, so that's improvement. Yeah, that's always our goal.
But process-wise?
Yeah, our goal is, I said before, our goal is to be most improved team in the league, and then most improved team in playoffs. And then here I think you want to be most improved team in a tournament, but you have to be most improved team in the game to get to the tournament. And to get the game, you have to find ways to get better on your shift. So I think it's as simple as that. Every shift tonight, we got two really good teams. Every shift makes a difference.
Since Rimouski's out, do you think you're going to have the crowd with you now?
Yeah, like I'm going to take my card from the mascot. That's very nice, and I hope the mascot's coming tonight. So, yeah, I mean, that's up to them. But I think the fans tonight, obviously, it's a sellout, and it's always a disappointment when the host team doesn't make farther on. But then they're going to be treated to really good hockey tonight.
Do you have an extra Wildcats jersey to give to the mascot?
Imagine GB. He's the master of the souvenirs and the jerseys of the Moncton Wildcats. I'm sure he could. I'm not sure if he's going to go all the way to Moncton, but anyways, I hope he's get the crowd going tonight.
A couple of games ago, you said you had a discussion with Caleb since he wasn't scoring. He didn't score yet. Do you feel he's nervous? Do you feel he puts pressure on him because of that?
I don't think you could call him nervous when you look at his pedigree. Yeah. And I mean, in the media world, you're only as good as your last performance. Unfortunately, you don't look at what the season he had, the playoffs he has, all the accomplishments he has. You're always asking for more. So media's kind of like the coach. You're always asking for more. But I thought he brought value to her. He had a very solid game, and made some plays, that type of stuff. And, you got to just keep making opportunities. That'll come. Good players, you can only keep them down for so long. So, and he's a great player. So, great opportunity for him tonight. He's always proven in the past at the TELUS Cup. He's a dominant there. And at the under 18, you watch the under 18 in Edmonton this year. If you say who's the best player in Team Canada, he's going to be. If you have three choices, he's going to be one of them for you. And you watch the game against the U.S. today, the prospect game, the second game. He got game stars, so those experiences are positive for him for sure.
When did your team, like you talk about being the masters of a one-goal game, like London is also, like if it's 2-2 or 1-1 late, they like that. When did your team become comfortable in those games?
Yeah, I think early on, probably in the process. Yeah, you got to be comfortable. Certain things you got to be comfortable playing in your own end first, in D zone. You got to be, whatever your philosophy is, your systems, that type of stuff. You got to be comfortable there. You got to be comfortable able to make plays in big games, and you got to be comfortable when you get scoring opportunities, and then you got to be comfortable. The key for us tonight is to get the lead. And coach would rather get it early, but as long as we get it at some point, and when we get it, you got to be able to protect it. And then if you can do a good job protecting, you're going to get chances to extend it.
Can you talk to us about the strength of essentially your top scoring lineup of Archer, Kinsella, and MYA? What they do, how they're successful?
Yeah, I mean, 1 + 1 + 1 makes 4. Yeah, they do a very good job of complementing one another. There's, they all have a top end skill level. They got really good mind for the game. They compete for pucks, and they're competitive. They want to make a difference in the game, and that's a great opportunity for them tonight.
How much did going to the elimination game on Wednesday help going into tonight's another elimination game for you guys?
Well, we talked about early in the year, in the game, the longer we play, the better we play. We've been the best third period team in our league. And maybe if you look at across the country, and our overtime record's been really, really good. And the longer the year goes, the better we play. So it's kind of fitting. I don't know who the schedule maker is, whether it's male or female, but this is game number 87. And it's kind of neat that we're playing game number 87 in Rimouski. You can draw your own conclusions.
What did you learn about all those university cups that you're in? What the urgency of, like maybe that you can use here? The urgency of the one game. You had teams that were like 24-3 and then go there and you're gonna all of a sudden you're down 2-0. Must win.
Yeah, we usually had the lead, but but no, I think it helps. Yeah, it helps when you've had those experiences and you can relate different stories. I mean, stories are, I think, the best form of communication when you can tell different stories to your team of previous events, whether they happen in this league, whether they happen in the NHL. We have Mike Eagles has lots of experience in the NHL. We had I called it atrocious first period, but Mike reminded me. He says, "Look, in 1982, when I went to the Kitchener Rangers, he said Sherbrooke beat us 9-6." He says our first period wasn't very good. So when someone in your coaching staff can tell those stories to the guys, and then I said our first period against Shawinigan and St. John, it wasn't very good either. So when you can relate some of those stories to your team, I think it just gives them a different perspective. I think you lead in different ways. Our job as coaches is to serve our players. And to serve our players, we want to try to get the most out of them as people first of all. And our guys have grown as people, unbelievable. The things, and then obviously as hockey players, their dream right now is to be the absolute best hockey player they can be. They're going to be people a lot longer than they're going to be hockey players, but this is their focus of life right now, to be the absolute best. So our job to serve them is to provide the environment, provide the data that they can be at their best today.
Hey fans, did you just enjoy that video? Now you can get more of that with the Wildcats Podcast YouTube channel. Subscribe. You're going to get a podcast every Wednesday. You're going to get a post-game interview after each and every home game. Click that subscribe button. Click the little bell. Make sure you don't miss any content.